Why, hello everybody, it is Kyle from Unboxed Autos, and today beside me we have this super cool, super incredible 2023 Mercedes-Benz GLE E63 AMG S Coupe. This car is absolutely incredible. We're going to go ahead and take it for a full test drive, get it on the road, and see what it's made of with its 603 horsepower V8 biturbo engine. So without further ado, let's take it for a drive. All right, everybody, so we are here in the absolutely incredible AMG 63 S Coupe. So this is, based off of the GLE SUV. This is the coupe version. So we have that sloped rear roofline, which I think looks really nice. But the star of the show is what's under the hood. So they have a couple different options in the AMG line here. They have the 53, and then we have the 63. Now the 63 is the one that you really want because it has the V8 biturbo, 603 horsepower. Oh my gosh, 0 to 60 time, 3.7 seconds. I've done it in about 4.1 seconds. I'm sure under perfect optimal conditions on the track, I can totally see this car easily achieving its 3.7 second 0 to 60 time. This car is an absolute monster on the road. Now, of course, it doesn't have to always be in the monstrous mode. Right now, we are in comfort mode. Very comfortable daily driver. And, even with these large wheels, the Michelin Pilot, sport tires, so we have summer, essentially, we have summer tires here. It's still a comfortable ride. Now, the body's also very well composed. And then, you can also use the steering wheel controls for different settings. If you want to go ahead and adjust the exhaust mode, you can go into the more powerful setting for the exhaust mode, or the auto stop start off button. You can customize the screens just with the press of a button on the screen. So that's pretty cool. There's also another whole setting. So there's comfort mode, sport plus mode, and then there's race mode. And there's, of course, a individual configuration mode as well. So you guys can choose if you different chassis settings, different engine responses, things like that within the individual settings. So that's really exciting. And now, of course, that is on the competitors. Let's talk competition for a second. So big segment here that we have in this around $120,000 SUV, super SUV segment. So closest competition, BMW X6M in my mind is the most direct competition. Then you have the Audi RS Q8, and then you also have the Porsche Cayenne GTS. That one's a little bit slower than this one, but the turbo one's really fast, but it's also way more money. So really direct competition, we're looking at Audi Q8, but the RS Q8 version, and then the BMW X6M competition. They all have V8 engines and make about the same amount of power and have around the same 0 to 60 times as well, of 3.7 seconds. So that's pretty interesting. They're all really comparable in terms of handling and speed, but just powering down on this guy, 0 to 60, I mean, again, that 3.7 seconds comes and goes like that fast, especially when you have that biturbo V8 with all that turbo boost right there. It just comes in so strong, and it sounds absolutely incredible, guys. This car sounds amazing, and that's something that you do not get in the 6-cylinder AMG version. It just doesn't sound as good. And unfortunately, this car is also going to be one with one of the last V8s in the Mercedes-Benz lineup. Even they just recently came out with the C-Class, the new AMG C-Class, and I think it's a 4 or 6 cylinder in that one. So we're downsizing, essentially. It's the point I'm making is we're downsizing, we're getting rid of the V8s, we're moving to 6s. Still, they're going to make a lot of power, especially as they add the EQ boost and increase the batteries in the cars as well. This car also does have that EQ boost, so it adds a little bit of extra power. But again, 603 horsepower and 627 pound-feet of torque, which is absolutely incredible power for this guy. Now, in terms of handling, This guy, it's a little bit heavy. It's a little heavy. The car's a little bit heavy, and you do feel, you know, the weight, but it's really well composed. So you don't get any body roll, even when you're pushing it really hard. There's really no body roll that's noticeable, even, you know, when you're pushing this car really hard, which is really cool. Now, the BMW and Audi might offer just a slightly more dynamic ride. But, you know, in terms of just raw power and just, you know, big power numbers, this car is really where it's at. So, you know, it really comes down to your own individual preferences on what you like. So, you know, in terms of design, I really like the sloped rear roof line that this car has. The Audi and BMW also have that same similar styling dynamic to it. But in terms of, you know, interior now, the Mercedes-Benz here, I really do like the interior. We have this nice large screens here. We have some cool settings under the Performance AMG section there. We have some cool graphics that you guys can see there where the power shows the power. So when you step on the gas, you can see there the power figures as they adjust in real time, which I think is pretty neat. You know, and in terms of luxury, we have everything that you could possibly want here. We have heated seats, heated steering wheel, cooled seats. We have, you know, heated rear seats. So really, this car is going to keep, you know, all of the passengers comfortable as well. And that's something, you know, that's really again a personal preference. All of the vehicles offer a very nice interior, whether you get the Audi, the BMW, whatever, you know, you like. They all have a very distinctive interior, very different, but they're all extremely nice. I do, though, however, really love the AMG steering wheel. I think this is one of the coolest steering wheels inside any vehicle for sale today. It is so cool looking. We have, you know, the giant, you know, star here in the center. Really high quality leather. We have some Alcantara there on the sides, and then leather with a flat bottom, and then of course we have the two screens as well that we can, you know, adjust everything from. So really, you know, functional, yet looks super cool. Now that brings me to my next thing about this car, is just all the cool integrative technology. So of course we have, you know, your standard things like the heads-up display, which is reconfigurable, of course. So we have some different views for that. If we want to go with a more minimalistic, just like miles per hour, it has that. If we want something a little more advanced, we also have the AMG one, so it actually shows the curvature there on the RPMs from you know, base obviously up to red line, which is 7,000, right about 7,000 RPMs red line, so you can see that. And then there's even a pretty large one that comes up for navigation as well. That's a little bit big on the windshield, so I tend just to stick with the more minimalistic design in terms of the heads-up display. Now, in other terms of technology, we have the distance guided cruise control. So for those nice long road trips, you're taking a nice long drive, you have the option for that, which is great. We have these hand controls there on the steering wheel as well for, of course, the volume. And now everything here is touch feedback. So as you guys probably have seen from the steering wheel, it looks, you know, really cool in terms of the design, but there are very few physical buttons. In fact, the only really physical toggle switches on here are on the screens. So everything else is touch based, and you know what that does for us is, you know, obviously it looks cool and they're able to incorporate a lot of information, but in terms of, you know, usability, it can be a little bit funky sometimes because of how it, you know, it's a little bit fidgety, so a little bit sensitive or not sensitive enough. So it just can be a little bit complicated to use sometimes. Now, most of the time, like I'm using it right now, it works, you know, works decently well. Once you get used to it, especially, it's not too bad. But it is definitely something to get used to. And personally, I preferred the previous setup with the more physical buttons there on the AMG steering wheel. But again, of course, this one does look cooler from a design perspective. In terms of the rest of the technology, we have just absolutely gorgeous display, both for the multimedia system as well as the gauge cluster. So everything just looks super clear, clean, and crisp. And there are some, you know, different views for them as well. They look really neat. I really do like all the different gauges and dials. And again, just the clarity on the screen is absolutely incredible. And yeah, guys, it's just a really nice setup in terms of technology, being very functional, but also it really doesn't, you know, hit you in the face too much where it's overwhelming. It's just a nice balance here inside of technology. And, you know, in terms of other things I really like about this car, just the performance is obviously bonkers. It's just crazy. It's crazy good. The transmission that's paired with the 9-speed is absolutely fantastic. So for instance, right now we can really easily step into manual shifting mode by using the dials on the steering wheel, the little screens. And now we're in manual shifting mode using the paddles, and you know, it's really a lot of fun. The transmission is very responsive, especially once you get it there in the manual shifting mode. Really responsive. Oh yeah, coming in a little hot here. Nice brake feel when you're really into it. Really good brake feel, you know, when you're really pushing it hard, getting in and out, heavy. But you know, around town, I would like to see just a little bit more feedback early on with the brake pedal, how it feels early on. But other than that, I mean, this car is just on point. Transmission's excellent, engine response very good. Of course, we have all that power. It sounds really good. So yeah, guys, just at this price point, though, of course, everything is going to be really good. It's going to come down to, you know, ultimately, what do you like the most? What do you like? You know, these little quirks, little features about it. You know, I think the styling here of the 63 GLE 63 AMG, very bold styling here on this car. So I think that if you're looking for something that's slightly less bold, then perhaps one of the other competitors would be a little bit better for you. But if you're looking for something just bold, loud, and aggressive, this is a really good option. You know, and again, lots of luxury, great tech, amazing engine. So yeah, guys, I mean, really, this car has pretty much everything that you'll want. And you know, it comes pretty fully loaded at the base price of $120,000. There are really only a few options that you can get. One of them is for around $5,500. There's some carbon ceramic brakes. Unless you're really taking it to the track, I would skip that option. But it comes, you know, very well, heavily equipped. We also have the absolutely incredible premium Burmeister audio system. It is excellent, really just absolutely always loved the Mercedes-Benz sound portfolio. In terms of stereos, it just sounds so full, so crisp, and very clear with very good bass, even at high levels. So you are getting, you know, an absolutely phenomenal audio system here. And the speaker grills, they look really cool too. Always really liked how those speaker grills looked. And yeah, guys, I mean, you know, in terms of super SUVs that are above $100,000, this is again 120. They're all around the same price point. It's great, you know, it's great. There's really not a lot to critique here because, again, we're at that super high price point where the brands, no matter, you know, if you're going for Audi, Mercedes, Porsche, BMW, they're putting their best in everything here, and it's really hard to argue with the best. So anyway, yeah, guys, I mean, again, once again, just having that 603 horsepower on tap at just a moment's notice, where you can just be at a red light like we are right now, look ahead, see the horizon, nice sunlight coming in through the windshield. You know, maybe you'd roll the window down just a little bit to hear the exhaust and then just bounce on it like this. Oh my god. Oh geez, it will put a smile on your face after a long work day, that's for sure. That's for sure. Well, anyways, guys, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching our video here on the 2023 Mercedes-Benz GLE 63 AMG S Coupe. Until next time, I'm Kyle from Unboxed Autos.